Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to AOE Sports and our new night of Ascent, and we will ascend from our graves. It's the Halloween update, and we will be hooking in to some spooky, scary shenanigans and some good old-fashioned Overwatch as well. My name is Justin, aka Cyberwaste, and I will be solo casting this for the interim. I'm expecting a right hand to come very soon. But in the meantime, I'll run you through who we have to put on a show to open up tonight. We will have Stygian Thunder, which is an amazing name, and TTT, which are so aptly named. And we're still waiting for the rest of our compadres to get into the server. We're at 10 of 12. And in amongst all that, I do now have a co-commentator who is on standby, and I'll allow them to introduce themselves.
Hello, I am Infinity, and nice to join the stream today.
Indeed, and new patch, new possibilities, and just to make things extremely clear for those playing along at home, given that Torbjorn is not available in competitive, he will not be available tonight, so we will see no welcome mats of the sort, sadly, which is a bit of a shame. But Infinity, how are you doing tonight? And I'm really looking forward to what these teams that we will see tonight, what they have on offer for us.
Oh, I am looking forward to tonight extremely, getting to see some Div 1 action, some high player gameplay hopefully, and especially with this new patch with those McCree and Soldier buffs, and the Pharaoh rework, which can be considered a nerf or a buff just more skill based for her. We could be seeing less of Pharaoh present if we don't see goats.
I'm actually really curious about Farah because I've been watching a lot of other games too which rely on really tight rockets, like say your TF2s or your Quakes, and that sort of, the rework to Farah to me sort of rewards that a lot more, but that's obviously changed the skill ceiling for a lot of farmers. They may not be a fan of that.
Yeah, it definitely has been a very big nerf to getting that splash damage behind the shield, but I think that change I think primarily came into live because of Farah being basically overpowered on console, so it's affected us PC players as well. So I think it will be definitely more of a skill now, so she won't be as prevalent in lower ranks where they can't really take her down as easily, but I'd like to see how she still goes in higher ranks.
And the pharmacy duel will not go out without a final, so I'll say that much, and I'm pretty sure that's certain. Actually, I'm really looking forward to how McCree will fall into the fray. Like you said, he's got a little bit of a tweak to him.
Yeah, the 6 seconds now on the roll means he can do his fan the hammer roll and fan the hammer again. Start melting those 400 health tanks. So those Orissas, those Zaryas, obviously they have their own abilities, Zarya Bubble and Orissa's Fortify. So they probably won't be able to quite get them, but if he catches them off guard, he should be able to really melt them down and get a nice opening pick in.
That's what McCree and a lot of those heroes are all about, just sort of cutting out any potential threat, especially if they're big and juicy, like you say, a tank, like one of the 400 health, or with a lot of assistance, you could take down the big beefies with quite a bit of ease if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, especially if he's able to get behind a Ryan shield and take his attention so he turns or drops his shield. That could just be huge for the team, but you'd hope that the McCree wouldn't get into a position where he could actually put that into work, but who knows?
Well, that's the curiosity, and sadly we won't see I know what the main appeal of a lot of these events are too, which is the cosmetics. We won't see them in the server tonight because we are running by official rules where they don't have skins enabled, but there are definitely some pickers in amongst the litter and the boxes that everybody's getting.
Yes, my favorite color is purple, so I was very happy to see this McCree skin when it was announced. It was I absolutely just lit up when I saw it. I was just so excited to have that a part of my cosmetics.
It's actually one of my favorites, which is weird because it's usually the legendaries that have the biggest appeal. But I'm a huge fan of McCree's skin. It actually reminds me of, if anybody plays any of the Pokemon games, it's got a similar color scheme to Marowak and his Alolan form with the green and everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he does because if anyone is familiar with Pokemon, the Alolan forms are a whole more colorful relating to that region, so it definitely does relate with a lot of those color schemes like the Grimer, the Muck. So yeah, I definitely did like the color from it because I'm stocking up on my Gladiator skins, but that makes me one less to get at least.
Fair enough. I chose. I guess I chose poorly. I went with the Dallas Fuel for the sake of consistency. Got the short end of the stick. But nonetheless, I do love the purple. I do love the purple palettes of the Gladiators, and it's a very popular set I've found in terms of cosmetics because it's just so appealing to everybody.
Purple, yeah, as I said before, by far my favorite color. But I actually haven't seen many people rocking Overwatch League skins in game, surprisingly enough. I know myself and a couple other of my friends who got the All Access Pass, we love rocking them, but I actually haven't seen many other people going with any of the skins, especially given that you get a free one, and if you watch, you get some of those as well.
Yeah, I did a lot of watching, and despite all the bugs and everything, I ended up getting 6 out of the entire roster, all for the one team. I hope to finish the set by the end of next season. Fingers crossed. And actually, really bummed I missed out on the All Stars sets because I was saving up for those.
Yeah.
Didn't end up getting them. So, bomb.
Yeah. Well, with the expansion teams coming in next season, you might have to look into one of those. Or I'm not sure if it's confirmed yet, but Florida Mayhem might also be getting their color change as well to be more of them Hotline Miami sort of look.
Oh, they get the Miami Vice colors. The was it the teal and the obnoxious teal and pink, the Miami Vice set. Oh man, that would be amazing in terms of aesthetics.
I have a mate of mine. He's bought a lot of Overwatch League skins. I'm fairly sure on one of his accounts he's got every single one for Florida Mayhem. So
does he work at Macca's by chance?
No, he doesn't. But I have previously, funnily enough.
Yeah, I'll take mine at extra large. Thank you very much. But with all that being said, we're still waiting for one lone combatant on one of the sides to join us in the server, and we will run you through our map pool real quick. We'll be starting off on Ilios, which, speaking of the fire changes, which we were bringing up earlier, Ilios has seen a bit of a change in terms of where she's used. She's used a lot in the ruins and but maybe not so much anymore, given a lot more precision is required.
Yeah, it could be. I think this patch has definitely brought not an end, but to a change to the prevalency of pharmacy. I've found that it's very prevalent, especially in lower ranks, just because of how difficult she can be to hit if you're not as mechanically skilled. And with the Fire, it makes it even more difficult if you have a Mercy. It makes it even more difficult with doing it as a McCree or a soldier.
Yes, indeed. And hopefully we'll see that all come to fruition. But we'll run you through your map pool because we can't have players without maps, and we'll run you through what we've got. As I said, to open, we will have Ilios. And the next map in our series will be the Escort Discipline, and we'll be going to Route 66 for that one. And then for Assault, we will go to Hanamura, and now we're getting to the maps we may need if it's not a 3-0 sweep. Our hybrid map will be Hollywood, which I have not seen in quite a while, so that's good. And our control will be Oasis, and in the event that one of the maps ends in a tie, we will go to Lijiang Tower to settle any ties and loose ends.
Yeah, I hope we see some Lijiang. I play a bit of Lucio myself, so I have a soft spot for Lijiang. I just love seeing Lijiang and Ilios perfectly. It's just a playground for all the Lucios, to be totally honest.
That's totally fair. I've seen many a moment where you've sent a Lucio will send 2 or more over the edge down to the street below.
It is very satisfying just to be the Lucio delivering that. It's just, and especially, you don't see it so much in this more organized team manner. You don't really see the rollouts from the start to get the, especially Garden. Garden's quite prevalent for this. Just going from the spawn, getting them on the bridge. I've seen those rollouts performed in comp where it's not as team based, but in these maps you need that speed boost to get to the point first.
It is all about speed.
Yeah.
And it is definitely all about speed, especially in a lot of these compositions, and not only to get to the point, but to actually stay alive and be a lot more elusive in the grand scheme of things, because that's what a lot of compositions are really riding on, is keeping everybody still and then just raining damage upon them and slowly breaking them down, as opposed to just cutting straight through.
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't have the Lucio in these goats, like if say you had a Zen for some reason, that if you have a flanking Widow, that's just easy picks on the 3 supports, and then you're just left with a tank lane that really don't have anything else. But with the Lucio, it's making those shots a whole lot harder to hit, and Widow, like, if you have a good Widow, goats possibly can be stopped, but still, that Ryan shield and the Briggs shield, unless you're flanking and you can get support from someone, it's really probably not a good idea to do.
Sometimes experimentation does not pay off.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
But sometimes it really does. I mean, calling back to from a while ago with the Overwatch League finals, that famous King's Row with LA Gladiators, where Shawfall was staying in spawn as Brigitte and then swapped to the Widowmaker and just got so many easy picks and just helped them roll that map.
That was still one of the best moments, because sometimes it's just the unexpected that works, and sadly it'll only work once. It's the same with Order during Overwatch Contenders. They went a Bastion Symmetra. This is just after the rework of Symmetra came out and went live.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that was a lot of fun just to watch it, and it's one of those situations where it won't work again, but it was such a thrill to watch.
Well, that's what some people might have thought about goats, but then we just we know what happened with that.
Yes, and it's a tried and true thing, and I don't think it'll go away anytime soon, despite all these changes.
Yeah, what we've seen in goats, the main healer being swapped around a bit from the Ana to the Mora. What do you think are the positives to either one and the negatives?
Well, I'm in the minds of we need to see more Ana. I'm more partial to her, but in terms of an actual composition, the healing that Ana provides, yes, it's large enough, but it's not going to cut it when you don't have the sustain that a long-standing damage output can have. So it's just a real unfortunate victim of circumstance.
Yeah, and I think with Moira as well, with her healing being AoE and also her left click able to pass through allies, I think it provides more sustainability. But the thing is with Ana, her Bionade is just, that can be crucial, especially landing antis onto the other team, and just that can win team fights.
It's so crucial, especially when you cut out that sustain with a big nade, and if you get like 2, 3, or even 4, it's such a huge swing.
Yeah, it can really. You could be 5, 6 down, but if you can anti their whole team, it just ruins them completely.
Yeah, indeed. Alright, now we do have all 12 in the server, and we're just having a little bit of a complication with the right-hand man of Infinity.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too long now. Just had to. I just came straight from work, so my Overwatch sadly was not updated. I haven't been able to hop on during the week, but it should be close to done now. So it shouldn't be too much of a wait. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, no, it's no dramas, and sadly, it is the way of gaming over the internet especially in Australia. Sometimes you just have to wait because sometimes things go so slow, and it's just a real just an inconvenience for everyone. They can't play, they can't watch or anything like that because it's all out of date, and it's just unfortunate.
Yeah. So I'll give you a roundabout on when it should finish. I think no more than 5 minutes.
Okay, well, I will aim to solo cast this next map because I've given the players in the server a little bit of a leeway. But now that will be unpaused, and we shall be good to go. Right, so now we go to the first point of Lighthouse, and given the unknowns of these teams, we'll see how they all shake out in terms of what roles they want to do. And just to reiterate, there is going to be no Torbjorn because he is so new in the state of things. With his recent rework, he will not be seen tonight. So we will not see the molten core and molten floors. And well, that actually kind of makes me sad because I was actually really curious as to how that would shake out. But regardless, we have your blue-sided Stygian Thunder. I will keep butchering that until I get. Then chose to win to DC Bolt, and on the side of TTT we have new Fezboy, Roll Rice, Canary, Humble, and Hobermate. Oh dear, these handles are wonderful. I can't wait to see them go to work, and New will drop DC Bolt, so that is a huge piece taken out very early on, and Chair Horowitz is going to have to use the res to get the Omnic back up and running. And then New will take out Chair Horowitz, and Fezboy will drop the Sombra counterpart Super Duper. So that will be the point effectively conceded to TTT in the opening break, and just offer those two frags. Just so much value acquired from them. Very little traded off. Don't really want to have a go. One is bought quite low. Hobermate is brought down to about half health, but is being sustained quite well so far. There's going to be another team fight right in the top health pack, and poor Big Dad has just been hacked and ejected from his back in the hands of Humble. So they got their back broken, but Super Duper will get the first comprehensive frag, and I'm Not Even will do the same in kind. So, aside from Royal Rice trying to bleed the timeout and the point, they've gotten all the way back on the side of the Siege and Thunder team on the blue side, and that will be the end of that. It was only a little bit of stall left for Humble and the rest of the TTT squad, and you may as well turn those T's to D's because you are all dying. But for them, you call it a little bit of a victory because the fight was starting to tip in the favor of Siege and Thunder at around 20%, and they got about 25% extra off of that to get themselves to 54. So TTT will be happy with that. I'm Not Even will have the Dragon Blade at the ready. Fezboy will bring out the EMP, and Hobermate and Fezboy will drop two members, and there is the justice from the hands of New. Big Dad will get the counterpart, drop the Fire Mercy, but that is after the damage is done. There's only Big Dad and the Winston and Mystic Leaf left on the point. One is gone. The second was sure to follow. 38% now for Stygian Thunder. But now the Reds are in control of things again. And well, aside from having the Deadeye and the Transcendence, they might want to hold off on the side of Stygian Thunder and wait for a more opportune time. There is the Deadeye from Super Duper. Nothing of note. It just got absolutely whacked by Hobo Mate. DC Bolt was turned to Bolt and scrap metal. And well, that Primal Rage, you would call that a small, large now victory thanks to the Tesla counter follow-up. Cho Horowitz and Big Dad were extinguished, and now that has forced out the Primal Rage from Mystic Leaf. He's wanting to try to battle back, and Hobo Mate was sent over the edge but not out, and that's not quite going to cut it. Canary will get the final blow. New will finish things off. Overtime will tick down, and Cho Horowitz does just get the touch. So does Big Dad, who's probably ejected and sent to the grave, and that is the first objective to TTT. They take the lighthouse.
0-1.
Sticking to what works. Mystic Leaf teasing, please. Perhaps wanting to go with the Wrecking Ball, but may not deem it appropriate. We're going to the well. So expect the Pit of Death to be well and truly utilized. DC Bolt and Humble will be your Roadhog duel for this section. Let's play hockey! Alright, the gates are now down. Besides, we have our first brigade deciding, which is Big Dad, but the duel will well and truly be in the skies with New and Royal Rice against Cho Horowitz. And I'm not Evan.
I will not waste this opportunity.
Alright, and there goes the duel winner. New will get the upper hand, and DC Bolt will get the better Humble. So it is 1 apiece thus far, but Brigitte is no longer a part of this battle. Hobo Mate will make sure of that. And Super Duper is actually taking out New, so it's a tip-the-tat run for the side of Stygian Thunder. And DC Bolt has thrown a hook and wrench right into the plans of TTT, and they seize control of the well first. They are trying to feel each other out. Super Duper on the soldier is proving to still be quite the formidable threat. Getting chipped down. Yes, he's being healed up by the mercy of Royal Rice, but still getting that little bit of chipped out is keeping them at an arm's reach. There is a hook connecting, but not getting much. The wings do go out from Royal Rice. Does not get much. New was actually set down, but Fezboy has replied with 2, and now New is back, and Born Anew back into the fight, trying to get things to tip over on the side of team.
Rains from above.
The Justice, and Fezboy will actually be the creditor of those frags, and Humble will get the final blow. After a little bit of an elongated stanza, that is TTT finally accruing percentage of the first point. Of Stygian Thunder to really recoil and figure out how they're gonna stop this menace, because New's been taking pot shots right down the main line. Super Duper's actually been standing a little bit further back. There is the attack visor, a little bit late for the take of Fezboy. The EMP did come out, but the life was sacrificed. Mystic Leaf has eaten a ton of scrap and sent out of this fight, but I'm not Evan as Super Duper are trying to tip the scales back, and it is similarly only a matter of time. Big Dad has called to arms. DC Bolt has thinned out the defense of TTT, and that will be time up for now. Stygian Thunder have seized control of the point once more. Ooh, the Orisa of Mystic Leaf was brought down quite low there, which is still a point for contention. Big Dad is really wanting to move in and try to rally the troops. DC Bolt has let go with a scrap cannon and made Homo May and Hubble's mech eat a ton of it and are turned into nothingness. Nu does go down to Super Duper after the resurrection, but it is not gonna cut it for the time being, and we're going into the 90s for Stygian Thunder, so now they're going to have to make their last stand and prevent a third point from going for TTT. They do get a touch, so that is the very least of their next objective. Nu has taken out Mystic Leaf with the concussive blast, but it is not even gonna come close. The feed is painted a shade of baby blue. And that is going to tie us up at 1 on Ilios, and we will go to Ruins.
I am empowered.
And I believe we have our next man. Now, he's gotten his technological gremlins knocked out and shown them who's boss. You're ready to join us.
Yeah, just launching up now. Sorry about leaving you out to drive for the first 2 points. Sounds like it was interesting though.
Oh well, it's a good test, as it were, because not a lot of people actually solo cast in Overwatch, given how chaotic things can get. Things can indeed slip through the cracks. But now we go to Ruins. We will see the Widow Jewel, Super Duper, and Fezboy will be locking heads and seeing who is sharper. And Super Duper's definitely caught wind of wood. And there we go. Both the widows will actually get frags, but Fezboy could be considered more valuable given it is the Mercy out of the fight. The point is now open, and the feed's painted blue. Thanks for Humble telling them all to sit down. Super Duper does take out Royal Rise. That is the Mercy gone, but that is just a small consolation frag, and now TTT will seize the point first.
Yeah, just some classic, some nice Widow players there. Just taking those up, and we do see the Sombra moving up, attacking those health packs.
That's a big part of it, especially when your healers are taken out of commission, and that is a big threat taken off the table. You going down to DC Bolt and the Brigitte. And Super Duper is already being sat upon and soloed out. That is the Widow taking it out of the fight. There is dueling bombs going across the sky. Big Dad does take out 2, and Humble will get the pilot there. So that is a mutual trade. The point did flip over to the side of Stygian Thunder, so that is a good outcome, all things considered, and that will cause TTT to, well, basically take their foot off the gas and reconsider their options.
There's a good ult there from Big Dad. He did get the Mercy with that, so it was quite a probably winning of that fight. We might see some sorry, we did see the EMP come out there.
And off of the back of that, this entire feed's been painted a shade of triumphant passionate red, and it is the Diva left on the point, but there is no comrades there to really help and capitalize on that, so would be a missed opportunity, and the window maybe starting to close for TTT for this fight.
Yeah, we have seen it, Widow's playground basically. A lot of Widow in the kill feed, and there we are again.
Huge frag and showed Horowitz. That's a Mercy taken off the table again. The Resurrection and the Valkyrie, such valuable tools to get rid of. There is the Blade on Sheet from I'm Not Evan, and will cut this attack down with a plum.
That was
to his name, and that is going to sound the bell of a team kill there. And Stygian Thunder will definitely be bringing the Thunder and a little bit of lightning too.
That was a huge blade. There was 3 on the blade, and then the Sombra after. We do see the Brig coming back out from TTT instead of the Sombra, so triple support. Widow's the only DPS. Just trying to get on the point and get some sustain, I reckon.
Maybe a little bit of a late call. There is the self-destruct from Hamble. Fezboy has been putting bullets right through everybody. Cho'Hara Witch is the next volunteer. Overmate has gotten rid of DC Boss, so that is the Brigitte no longer able to call on the troops. Unknown Evan is really making himself a nuisance right in the back line with everybody bunched up on the side of TTT, but it may not be enough at this juncture, and they are only bleeding the clock, and that is what will cause it. The point has been tipped over to TTT, but all things considered, Infinity, that's not a lost fight for Stygian Thunder. They still have time on their side.
They still have a whole lot of time. One team fight and they've won this map, and then they get the advantage coming up. But they've got 50% to go. And let's see if TTT can hold this out, or if we can see if Stygian Thunder can get a pick in and just take this out.
Big Day is really wanting to make a go of it. If the Brig's been sacrificed, that could be huge. But Cho'Hara Witch could actually be just as big. And there is another capture of the Widow Jewel taken to a close. Fezboy will win that one. The Primal Rage has been put out from Homomate. He's big, he's bad, he's angry. And he has saying no more advancements for Stygian Thunder there. And now they're actually running a little bit slow on time. And the Ultimates aren't in a good place. They may have to throw away one more fight, but they don't have the luxury of it.
And that's going to be the res down early into the fight, so if they get a pick now, they won't be able to take that off. We do see the Infrasight coming out as well, as Stygian start pushing in now.
And goodness gracious, Humble has blown this attack clean off its heels. Super Duper has got the better of Fezboy, but that is just a hollow victory from here on out. And Humble, off of the back of the self-destruct, I'd say, has single-handedly won TTT this map. The recontest does not come in time. And they may as well add a V to that abbreviation. The V is for victory.
That was a huge bomb. We will see the Genji player of the game here. It was a very nice one to stop their push here, but that bomb really that was very helpful to them there. It is always difficult going into when they're coming in when they're coming into the point trying to contest, trying to hide from those diva bombs, because you're not sure whether you want to contest or you want to just hide from the diva bomb. It's a hard decision to make, really, especially when they're zoning you out.
Yeah, especially when they're keeping it within arm's reach. And it looks like I was given an incorrect map pool. Looks like we're going to Junkertown for our next one.
I believe it's a choice, actually.
Ah!
Yeah.
They've actually chosen Junkertown for this one. Yay!
Yes. So, I'm fairly sure in Ascent, if the loser gets to choose the map, but for this one it was between Route 66 or Junkertown. And then we have Hanamura or Volskaya for Assault, and then Hollywood or Blizzard World for Hybrid, if we get there. But the last control is only Oasis, so that if we do go to 5 maps, we will see Oasis. Let's hope that we get that interesting of a game.
I really hope so too, and even now, it's a little bit of a rarely seen map. Junkertown. It hasn't been seen in quite a while. I'm actually really glad to see its return, if only because there's one strategy that I really enjoy seeing, if only to make tons of pirate puns.
Yeah.
Pirate ship.
Yes, but also Junkertown, as we just saw from Ruins, we might have an interesting Widow battle coming on here as well.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely not going to be done. Not after that run on Ruins. There might be just mortal enemies all night long. We could see just a blood feud boil over.
Definitely seemed like it was more 1-to-1 going into those games, so hopefully we still see more 1-1. Obviously it's fun to watch the perspective of a dominating Widow, but it's also nice to see them just fighting, trying to get the pick over each other, because it's very much of a pride thing when you're playing Widow and you're playing against another one.
There's a lot of those types of things in Overwatch and very similar games. You sometimes will single out someone else who's playing your class or your hero, and you'll basically do like a silent agreement between each other. I'll challenge you to a duel, and you just see them go tit for tat with each other over a long set, and it's enthralling to watch to see who could get the upper hand over who.
Yeah, and after seeing that Ruins map, I think it does need to be pointed out that their mercies are just getting picked from those widows. They really need to try and just find cover, basically, because too many times in the kill feed, early into the fight, we just saw Chahorowitz or Royal Rice just being taken out.
Yeah, as soon as you see both Royal Rice and Chahorowitz get a frag right between the eyeballs from a widow, it's a huge asset to take out of the fight, especially with how valuable Resurrects and Valkyrie can be, especially when the fight is so long and sustained. But your defenders of Stygian Thunder, or your attackers of Stygian Thunder, are about to roll out, and let's see how TTT will put out the defense.
And we will see triple tanks coming in from Stygian Thunder with a Diva, a Roadhog, and the Orisa coming in. So definitely going for that sustain on the card and just the barrier breaking.
Yes, and definitely not wanting to get things to stall out over the huge, vast plane that is near the first checkpoint. A full team effort to get rid of DC Bolt, it looked like, and Super Duper and Fezboy are definitely not having any love lost between them, and Fezboy was dropped from the fight briefly. And this elongated fight is just going back and forth for the longest time, and there's no progress made either.
Yeah, New was in the backlines for a long time there, just able to get some spam behind, and he's built up his ult quite a lot, actually.
There is the self-destruct. That would be more for Big Dad to get back into the mech more than anything else. And Fezboy keeping everybody at an arm's reach and telling him to stay off the property. Has gotten 3 scalps. Make that 4 for the trophy room. And if there was any chance of an attack, it is gone now. And Fezboy is almost single-handedly responsible.
Yeah, nothing better than playing as Widow and able to just shut down a team. Obviously, taking down those tanks, it's still a team effort, but just seeing the Widow on the kill feed, you know that they're hitting shots, and I'd be scared if I was Stygian Thunder going into that.
Fezboy just styled all over Super Duper, getting a bullet right between the eyes, and Chahorowitz has actually had to use the res. So that is a huge resource that's been basically blanked out from Fezboy and his skills.
Yeah, and he's currently trying to play 15 different angles, and it looks like he's still doing an alright job at it.
Who has actually pulled out the attack visor, did get rid of the Widowmaker there, and Super Duper's been set back to the bed. Chahorowitz and I'm Not Evan are the final to fall, and Big Dad's just being stalled out now. Sure, Super Duper did get fragged there, but that may be of so little value, especially with Big Dad and the just the lack of a mech, making him earn it the hard way. Just so much time bought.
Oh, Fezboy, he got hooked then, but somehow broke it. We do have the trance from TTT, but we do see 3 ults on Stygian Thunder as well. Oh, and he broke from another hook. How lucky is Fezboy?
Fez has called on the powers of the Matrix or something like that. This defense so far from TTT is ironclad, and well, looks like it's going to be clear days from here on out, because there is no thunder to be seen for now, and we're running short of 40 seconds. There are a lot of ults on deck. We do have Nano Boost, Valkyrie, the Supercharger, and the whole hog ready to be used, so expect the member of DC Bolt to be a pivotal part of this next fight.
And possibly still a bomb, because Big Dad, I believe, is still out of mech. Oh, and that's just a huge visor there from you.
Yeah, well, new, shiny, improved and ready to bring the pain. DC Bolt did get one, but is not enough. Has been forced into tranquility by Canary, and Big Dad was held back just enough to make the remech and potential self-destruct a non-factor. And while this is a walk in the park for TTT, if their attack is as good as their defense, goodness me, that was dominant from bell to bell.
That was just to not by a better use of words, ownage really. That was just a show of a great defense there. You had Fezboy just constantly getting those picks and constantly putting out damage, which is what you want from your Widow. You definitely don't want a Widow that isn't able to hit shots, especially in this game. So in this sort of map where if you don't hit your shots, the other Widow probably will shut you down. And sadly, Super got shut down a whole lot.
Super Duper just got, well, downgraded from super to meh to insignificant in the grand scheme of things. He barely got a scratch on the board, and aside from like the opening fight, it was just all TTT from, well, as we said, from start to finish. As soon as the cart stopped, there is no way it was going to move. Not with the way that TTT were playing. And it looks like yo ho ho, it's going to be a pirate's life for us. We could see the pirate ship set sail.
And I wonder if they'll stick with this Lucio or just use it for the initial speed boost. It could be, with pirate ship being such a stationary comp, you're not sure if they'll actually keep it or not, but it does look like they're going to stick with it, at least for now. They're actually flanking, it looks like. This could be catch them.
Let's do something. TTT be like, let's do something weird, and weird is what they will do. Canary, this is not a surf server, but you were going to try and make it yours. And it looks like there is a full-blown skirmish between both combatants. Super Duper has dropped the Canary, so that is an endangered bird taken off the table. But now the pirate ship is well and truly on the move. And even though they are one man down, now two man down, Hobomate has been turned to scrap metal, but Hardball has gotten the better of Mystic Leaf, so that is another one taken off of the table, and now the feed is all blue all day. Canary has used the right click to take out Big Dad, the pirate form. We're coming close to the box of victory, and given the rollbacks, they're really trying to make a go of this. They have no choice on the side of Stygian Thunder, but it's going to be staggered at best. Gonna be no fight, actually.
No.
I was almost certain that the Reinhardt was gonna make the distance, but it was not to be.
That's quite a decisive victory there from TTT. Doesn't feel good if you're Stygian Thunder going into the next map. Hopefully they can recover from it. You always don't want these losses to just be taking you down. You want to bounce back, and I want to see this. I don't want it to be a quick 3-0. I want to see Stygian Thunder fight back and give a decent fight here.
Yeah, they've definitely shown that they've got the medal. They did quite well on the opening map of Velios. It was definitely a back and forth tilt, but sadly on that escort mission, it was just all TTT all day.
Yeah, so seeing either Hanamura or Volskaya coming in next, with Stygian Thunder hosting the lobby, we won't see any discussion. We'll just see the map come up and just hoping. We got Hanamura coming up. Could be very interesting indeed.
One of my favorite maps, actually, especially to watch, because it's a constant conundrum of whether or not second point will fall to you, because it's one of those constant curses in Australian Overwatch, the second point of Hanamura. Either it'll steamroll, or you'll get stuck there and it'll be like trying to take blood out of a stone. It's just super difficult.
The worst thing is if you cap first point on your first push and still can't take that second point. I think that's just a real hit to you if you're starting on attack with that.
Especially when you have that much time, and I've seen this firsthand in games that I've cast in the past, and it definitely won't be the last time I'll see such things. Sometimes it just happens like that. You'll win a decisive fight, but then the defense is given enough time to really dig their heels and really lay the boot in.
Yeah. Well, we might be seeing some goats come in here if we're lucky, or unlucky, depending on how done you are with it. And so we'll Hanamura, a very goatsy map.
Indeed, it's one of a lot of the 2CP maps, to be fair, are well equipped to take on that type of composition. And yeah, I've heard many a bleating squad of goats in the past, present, and surely into the future until that all changes. But your defenders will be TTT and Hobomate. Is this an actual pick from Hobomate? Will we see Symmetra?
That would be very interesting. I did a.
I see what he's doing. He's using the teleporter to help with the rollout.
Ah.
There we go. That's really cool. I've seen that a lot more in certain compositions to get to certain positions, like the rooftop on A for Temple of Anubis, and just basically moving to higher ground for any defender. But yeah, we're going with the well and truly tried and tested Ghost composition procedure Thunder, and they are rolling out and wanting to break down the TTT defense. But that's not going to be good with poor Not Ever being hacked and absolutely obliterated by New. Mr. Leaf will avenge him in that fight, but already TTT really wanting to put a stamp in, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult with the Reinhardt now out of the fight.
Yeah, he had the opportunity at the start to build up a lot of ult charge there. In Goats, when playing against Goats as a Reinhardt, you have the chance to get your ult within 30 seconds if you're lucky with your fire strikes, and they're all grouped up. He just barely missed it, sadly.
Didn't quite get the boat, and that is the first fight done. And the point will fall to the Thunderous Ones, and that will be 7 minutes on the clock. But now we get into the conundrum that we discussed just as we were starting the map. Will they be able to use this time bank, or will they be stalled out? They're really wanting to make a go of it, and Big Dad has dropped too, as a matter of fact. So TTT definitely on the back foot, but Hobomate has made quick work of that. That's all done.
Very big grab there. The EMP didn't really get. It did a lot of work. Sorry, but the Diva Bomb did come in. It staggered them a little bit, but it didn't seem to make too much of a difference. So that should be fine. And
now we have like 6 minutes to deal with. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah. The biggest issue that I noticed with Stygian Thunder was they didn't seem like they were grouping their ults a whole lot last map. So let's hope they start using that a whole lot more.
There was dueling Earth Shatters there. Hard to see who actually got the better of that one because it looked really wonky on my screen, but it looked like the side of TTT has gotten the better of that one. And the quarterback arm from Royal Rice, that ought to be highlighted. Just getting the Bionade onto New there. And Big Dad, oh dear, that stagger is really gonna hurt. That's gonna bleed at least another 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you have 7 minutes to defend, those staggers make all the difference. And coming in, we do have the Brigitte on Stygian Thunder. An interesting thing is whether or not you do it before or during a fight, because having that regen armor is quite helpful, but also having the extra 100 health into a fight is also quite helpful.
The jury is still out on that, and it looks like the call is Babs During. Super Duper has called up the troops. And the elongated fight right in the hallways. No running in the halls, everybody. Please be safe. And it looks like Mystic Leap has had enough of New and his tag visor. There is the Graviton Surge for the side of Stygian Thunder. Does not get much value off it. There is the reply from Humble. Does claim a couple there. And just a full-blown scrap on the point. And it looks like the Red Forces are starting to be forced away. There is the Earth Shatter from Hobomate. does claim a couple of bodies, and they're moving back on towards the point. There is the self-destruct after Big Dad does not get a lot of value off it. New has actually gotten rid of Mystic Leaf, so now this fight, albeit elongated and showing a bit of promise, it has finally come to a close. But bright sides, the side of Stygian Thunder did get a third to their name, so that's a part of the work done, and they just got over half actually, so they do have a win condition should we go to the next half.
Yeah, it was once again Stygian Thunder. They had a grab in there and just nothing really to work with it. It just seems like not getting enough value with their ults coming in, and especially that essentially would be a bit rude to say, but the sort of a throwaway ult there from Big Dad really. It was just Big Dad and Mr. Clef left on the point and really shouldn't have been using ults there, but I don't think he probably had a call from his team saying don't use ults, so that might have been an issue. And that's a pick for the Ana before the fight even starts.
That's the end of that. Royal Rise has ejected Big Dad for the mech.
I'm out of here.
Before it even began, just like you said, the fight is done. And like we said, it started with 7 minutes. And they now have 3 minutes left. And it's getting into maybe a little bit of frustration and maybe a little bit of cross streams, a little bit of miscommunication. Given a couple of their a couple of instances of alt usage in their last fights, Precision Thunder's really wanting to give another go.
No one can hide from that.
Yeah, we will probably see an EMP grab coming out here. That's something TTT have been using, but it seems like that's the EMP already out with no grab to follow, and we do see the Primal Rage coming out as well from Mystic Leaf.
Mystic Leaf is, well, angry and maybe a little bit frustrated, and not a lot there, just trying to keep the side of TTT honest in the grand scheme of things. Well, they could have another chance to engage on the side of Stygian Thunder. They do have a few crucial ultimates on deck. They have the Valkyrie, they have the Transcendence, but they will not have Fezboy sitting on the bench now, and New has gotten the better of the counterpart. Sherwitz has brought Super Duper back into the fight. There is the Graviton Surge from Humble. Did not get a whole lot off it. Big Dad did throw out the self-destruct, but did not get all that much, and that is another fight lost for Stygian Thunder. And we brought it up before. It looks so fragmented and perhaps lacking a little bit of communication.
Yeah, some of these teams are really hit and miss in these in the amateur tournaments. We're not sure how long these teams have been together. It could be for a while, could have been maybe a week before the tournament started. So hopefully it's something they can improve on. We do have the Shatter, EMP, and the Transcendence on TTT side, with Stygian Thunder only really having the Genji Blade coming out now.
Dragon Blade is really wanting to make this work. I'm not ever does end up taking out one, so that could be a good enough theme, but perhaps it is not enough. Humble and Fezboy being a terroristic tandem and running right over the attack of Stygian Thunder. A celebratory grab from Humble. Perhaps that may not have been the best point of attack, but Humble is moving all the way past the main doors of the temple, so perhaps feeling a little bit too confident, and perhaps arrogance could be their undoing. We're running in to just under 30 seconds.
Yes, that grab, we won't see it yet, but that grab could have really stalled them right as they're coming into this push now. I'm not sure if it actually got any value whatsoever, so hopefully Humble doesn't end up regretting that, but we do see them diving onto the point now.
There's the Transcendence, and the Primal Rage just got nullified and deleted. Mystic Leaf has fallen to the Giant Swing and Hammer of Homome. DC Bolt Super Duper are really trying to stem the tide at this very last stand. Another whipped grab there from Humble. Perhaps not really feeling the mood for it, but the rest of the TTT comrades will put the ship to rest. Super Duper will get the better of New, but it is not enough. And 7 minutes they had, and well, the side of Stygian Thunder, they only got halfway, and They could have gotten so much more.
I hope I didn't jinx that from them. Yeah, I did say 7 minutes, I did say being held, so I hope that wasn't my doing, but it was a bit upsetting.
We brought it up. We brought it up, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. If it ended up being a 2-0 sweep, then we could called it a jinx, because we harkened on how often teams get stolen in that exact same situation. They just can't crack the defense of the second point of Hanamura. But now the win condition is simple for the side of TTT. They get the first point, match the percentage on the second, and they win the series in a 3-0 sweep.
Yeah, it was humble with it. I do like seeing the nano Zarya, because that way Zarya is able to get her grab a whole lot quicker. He went from 70 to full charge on his ult very quickly after that nano was applied, and just it was a whiffed grab, but that was one team fight after the first one was used, so it was quite impressive.
Yeah, and always a fun time to see Zarya's go out, especially when they're at full charge, because they sound like a horde of extremely angry and aggressive insects. But now, it is now Stygian Thunder's last stand. They're really wanting to go on the pharmacy tandem again. I'm not Evan, and Horowitz will be your parts to that machine. But now the point's already being seized. News on the Tracer really trying to be a flea in the back line and trying to sting this. And Horowitz is dropped from the fight. So that is a huge pick right off the bat. And this is going from bad to worse. And, well, you may as well hold up a giant D and hold the fence right up to it, because there was nothing else there aside from a couple of cardboard cutouts, it seems. And, well, TTT will seize the point in dominant fashion, and they're really not wanting to slow down.
No, that was even quicker than what Stygian Thunder kept in. Evan really feeling the effects of that Pharah change. Trying to get the splash damage on him. Probably could have gotten a couple of limbs there if it went for those changes, but sadly you got to adjust for these changes. And we got the assault coming in. We don't have any ults quite yet. Do we have coalescence and
Pulse bomb did go out, did not catch anyone. I'm not Evan will silence New, but Mystic Leaf attack dropped from the fray. That could be a huge pick. There goes the Earth Shadow from Homo, mate. Did get the legs out of a couple of members. Big Dad has been ejected and pulverized, but it is... Shot was good on paper, but that will be the end of that, and that is now the chance for Stygian Thunder to stabilize. And let's reiterate, TTT do not have to do as much work as Stygian Thunder had to do. They don't have to cap the full point.
No, they have to do what Stygian Thunder did. They just have to get that 57%, and they should be able to take this out. And from what we've seen from them in the past couple maps, that sadly I think they'd be able to do this, and we'll see a 3-0 sweep coming in, I think.
Are you trying to jinx them to get us more maps of Overwatch?
I don't want to say the reasoning behind it. I'm just saying what I'm seeing.
That's totally fair, and I would be inclined to agree, but I do want some more Overwatch. New does end up getting staggered. So that is perhaps not the way that you'd want to go out, especially when the rest of your team is in position. But the side of TTT are really wanting to make this fight go. Playing a person down, and New has actually gone to the Genji.
So possibly just going on points die to get that quick swap to the Genji there. We do have the tech, but we have 4 ults coming up from Stygian Thunder, possibly, and Nano Visor coming in if they all get onto the point, if we're lucky.
There is the Nano Visor, or the old Grandma's goggles. There goes the Earth Shatter there, and despite Super Duper being taken out, the resurrection was put out from Horowitz. And, well, that's a fight. Well, pulled the plug on it. It is done and dusted. And with New being dropped late, the side of TTT will have to play the waiting game for a little while longer. And looking at the ult bank that they do have, they have the Graviton Surge on Humble. They have the sound barrier and the EMP, so they have some of the tools to go in, but perhaps not ideal, and they have the luxury of time to acquire the others.
And it looks like they're pushing straight through mid to get onto the point. Yeah, deep bomb coming out as well. Doesn't get anyone.
Didn't get all of it, and Humble does prevent Big Dad from coming back. The Meteor Strike does come in to really show for it. Boy does get the better of Super Duper. A huge Earth Shatter. New was put in the blade right to Horowitz, and the blade did end up coming out, cutting Arnold Evan and DC Ball clean in half. It is only a matter of time. The sand has run through the hourglass. TTT have swept out their opposition 3-0.
Dominated would be the word I'd use. I sadly didn't get to see the start of Ilios, but from the third point was a bit closer on Ilios, but these two maps after, it just seems like TTT have just been able to crush them. Even without their map choice, they just stomped, really. They just asserted dominance and made it so that they should be watched if you're playing up against TTT soon. That was quite a masterclass to say.
Definitely a statement game too. I definitely agree with that type of line of thinking. But that will be where this portion of our Ascent coverage will be. That's where we'll end our part of the Ascent coverage, and we will have another game going on at 8:30, but that will be different with different commentators and producers. And Infinity, before we do leave, do you have any parting words?
Thanks for coming along. It was some good. Sadly, was a bit disappointing towards the end, and well, hopefully people come along to the next game in 20 minutes, and hopefully there's more maps and more competitiveness to see.
Yes, and the amateur Overwatch scene in Australia is one thing to really keep an eye on, because we could see our Stars of Sorrow, we could see our Punks, our Trills, and all the other heavy hitters. You could have said that you've watched their first game. Who knows? But with all that being said, my name is Justin, aka Cyberwaste. My co-caster has been Infinity. My producer has been known as Wen. Good night, happy fragging. Stick around for the 8:30 game and be the best hero you can be.